Akademiks can't ride no wave.
Okay, breaking news though. Breaking news. David has been arrested, y'all. Check this out.
We are following major breaking news tonight. Singer David has been arrested in connection to the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the LAPD. This is a case that stretches back more than 2 years to when she was last seen alive. Her decomposed body found in the trunk of David's Tesla late last year. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. All right, let's get to this breaking news coming in right now from Los Angeles. A bombshell announcement by the LAPD. I want you to take a look right here. This is the post that was put out by the public information officer with the Los Angeles Police Department on social media announcing the singer, known as David, had been arrested by homicide detectives in LA, quote, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Now,
he's been held without bail. By the way, there's also a video that showcases supposedly the actual moment. And they said LAPD made the arrest because they're tired of waiting on the DA. Ooh, wow. That's
Take another listen to Optimum Famously Fast
What the
Fiber.
fuck?
25 a month, 5 whole
Oh, that's an
years.
ad.
Same sweet number in your ears.
What the fuck?
Check it in 5. The same Optimum Fiber price still alive.
What type of, I can't, oh, okay.
Just recently, the medical examiner has apparently revived or has come up with or has come to the conclusion to a medical certainty that it's a homicide. Guess what happened then? Have you heard what happened then? LAPD then tried to get the DA's office to then file. DA's office apparently wouldn't file, so LAPD said, "Oh, okay, you're not going to file. We're going to go arrest David. We're going to arrest him on a Thursday afternoon."
You got to stop for a second. Back this up. Are you telling me that you're hearing that the DA was not ready to file charges and the LAPD said, "Screw you, we're gonna just arrest him," when the DA wasn't ready to file charges? Is that what you're saying?
There is exactly what is happening right now, which is why there is no complaint.
Are you saying you know, because that's what I'm hearing, that the DA was not ready to file?
Oh shit, my bad. Fuck. That's insane. So if you guys don't know what that means, it's basically saying that the police are so split on this, right? So the cops are so split on all of this that they have arrested someone without the sign off from the DA saying the DA would prosecute. So now usually the cops could hold you on suspicion of some shit, but the DA is going to have to file those charges to say, hey, we're prepared to take this to trial. Or they're going to have to say, oh, we have a grand jury that's came back with something. So now I think, we could look it up. Let's look it up. David, how long can police in California hold you without charges? I think it's 72 hours. It says generally hold you for 48 hours, but it excludes weekends or holidays. That's the important thing, chat. Arresting him on essentially end of day Thursday, it actually means he's literally arrested for Friday, which means even though he's going to spend the weekend in jail, they don't have to present the charges until at least Monday afternoon going into Tuesday. So this is the cops trying to force the hand. They're trying to force the hand of the DA. For whatever reason, the DA hasn't been trying to file charges. You heard what Harvey Levin and also why am I forgetting my man's name? Damn, what's my guy's name again? What the hell? Mark Garagos. I'm sorry. Mark Garagos is saying the cops want to force the hand of the DA. Now remember, the DA is already in charge of the grand jury. So they were running an investigative grand jury, which they should have way more information than the cops have, right? Because they're running this investigative grand jury. They have subpoena power. They have all this type of stuff, but they haven't filed charges. So now the fact that the police are kind of like forcing their hand, it becomes really interesting. Well, if the people who have more than y'all haven't filed charges, why are y'all forcing the issue? And it appears that this all originates from the medical examiner coming back on a review of the autopsy saying, yes, we could now certify that 100% this is a homicide. So they've now, at first they were looking at the body and they were saying this could have been, we can't certify a homicide, but it looked like there was some foul play afterwards, which would be like, tampering with the body or whatever the case is, or improper discarding of the body. But they couldn't certify that the person died of a homicide. They could say, oh, maybe the person overdosed and then someone, in trying to conceal the body or conceal the death, cut the limbs off and did whatever. Eventually now the medical examiner came back out and said, no, it's not only just dismemberment or improper handling of a body after this it's been deceased. They're now saying this person was killed. Important. Okay, so now the LAPD, they've jumped the gun. According to Mark Garrett, goes, let's hear.
Or DA's office apparently wouldn't file. So LAPD said, oh, okay, you're not going to file. We're going to go arrest David. We're going to arrest him on a Thursday afternoon.
You got to stop for a second. Back this up. Are you telling me that you're hearing that the DA was not ready to file charges and the LAPD said, screw you, we're going to just arrest him when the DA wasn't ready to file charges? Is that what you're saying?
There is exactly what is happening right now, which is why there is no complaint.
Are you saying because that's what I'm hearing, that the DA was not ready to file charges, the LAPD got frustrated and said, we're just going to arrest him. You got 4 days to file. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm hearing.
I don't understand that. But Mark, if the DA is not ready to file charges and 4 days run out, then David walks free and LAPD has egg on its face.
No.
Yeah, but they could arrest him again later on. But yes, he would walk free.
Oh, LAPD is then going to point the finger at the DA's.
Okay, so it's going to be a political showdown. So LAPD look like they're going to have it out publicly in a PR level with the DA's office. But that's really interesting and really odd, because for any municipality, especially a big city to run, the police department rely on the DA's office to get the criminals off the street. The police arrest them. They pass the cases to the DA prosecute them, put these people in jail. It's a handshake process. The DA usually relies on the police for really good investigation material, interviews, and all these things that are basically checking all these boxes, that by the time they get a case, they have something with substantial amount of evidence to work off. So when they're now going to come out publicly, let's say the cops, and say, hey, listen, we did our motherfucking job. These are the motherfuckers, they're not doing their job. They didn't charge these people. It's a mudslinging contest, and I wonder if that's going to then kind of erode into maybe other cases unrelated, right?
And the DA's office is going to say, we're not ready. Are you?
Yes. And that, I'm telling you, that's what's happening. There's only one other explanation that makes any sense whatsoever. And the DA may embrace this if they decide this is too hot for them to just reject. And what the DA would say is, on Monday, that we've now looked at it, we're now going to file charges, and they'll do a press conference, and they will do the performative arts theatrics that it took them over the weekend to finally realize that they had enough evidence.
I have talked to multiple people in this case, and nobody could understand why they would do it before something was filed. And you're right, it's becoming the only viable answer, that They just got frustrated and wanted to arrest this guy.
Correct. They're sitting here saying we're now into April.
Okay.
You already punted us into 2026. We're not going to be deterred here, and you're going to have to figure out your escape strategy, which is, by the way, as we're taping this on Friday afternoon, and they'll come out and deny it on Monday. But I know for a fact they're all meeting right now. As we're taping this on Friday afternoon, there is an all hands on deck meeting in the DA's office.
And an all hands on deck meeting to figure out what the hell they're going to do because this guy's in,
Right.
and he could get out on Monday.
Now it's so like convoluted a little bit because I feel like just hearing the story, we're like, all right, this guy was a little bit odd. Like this chick was young, like clearly she was running away from her family. She was with him a lot. Based on everything we've seen, I don't think there's like exactly hard evidence that he did it, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, if there's smoke, there's probably some fire. You use a little bit of common sense for maybe the lack of evidence that we don't have this guy dead to rights. We're like, bro, this guy kind of did it, right? I'm wondering why the DA or what they're waiting for to actually feel confident to charge him. I thought once they started bringing in the friends, I thought once they started bringing in the managers and everything, I thought they were going to get enough, get somebody to flip. Like, oh yeah, nah, he did ask me to help him move the body, or he asked me to do this, or I thought they would have had somebody to snitch on him, or at least be able to kind of give the cops confidence that this guy was probably the person who killed him. But, maybe they do have that, but we don't know. But it's kind of confusing. What do they have, huh? This was a video of them arresting him. Now, another thing, I don't know if Mark Garagos and Harvey Levin thought about this, but I do believe that the cops might come out and say, hey, we captured or we arrested him because we were concerned that he may have been a flight risk over the weekend, and now we're ready to do charges. So this was...
Obscure my view from the gate. The gate.
Is that his voice?
Open the gate.
Okay. Can't really see much of anything there, but I think you guys get the drift, huh? Okay. Anyway.
David, his real name is David Burke. He is now being held without bond, and he hasn't been charged as of yet. The LAPD says that his case will be presented to the DA on Monday for filing consideration. We're going to go over the process here in just a moment. This is a case that has taken months to get to this point. I know so many of you have been following this, and now it seems like the next step, a major step, is still something that's going to take some time before we learn a lot of information about this case. And we'll be talking to former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about that here in just a moment. But as we focus now on this announcement, it may feel like a long time coming because David was announced as a suspect in November of 2025. Now, before we get into what will happen next, I do want to get you up to speed on this case because it is one that has been going on in some ways months, in other ways years.
One of his like friends was already speaking like, yo, I'm not gonna, basically I'm not gonna go down for this. I don't know what happened to that.
According to the LAPD, this all started in September of 2025. And that is when officers responded to an impounded lot in Hollywood after there were reports of a foul odor coming from a vehicle, a Tesla. Now, that vehicle, it had been towed days earlier after it was found on a street, abandoned, it seemed, in Los Angeles. Now, police say that vehicle, that Tesla, it was registered to David Burke. And many people in the music community know him by just one name, David, D4VD. Now, when detectives searched that car, they found a body. And that body was later identified as a 14-year-old girl, her name, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body was in the front storage area of the Tesla. That's like the trunk of the vehicle. And it was in a state of decomposition, law enforcement said. Investigators have said that Celeste may have been dead for weeks before she was discovered. The teen's mom told investigators that she was last seen and heard from in April of 2024. So here we are in April of 2026 with David now under arrest in connection to her murder. The last time she was seen alive, according to her mom, all the way back roughly 2 years ago. Her mom also added another point about her daughter, and it was that she had a boyfriend named David. Now, by late 2025, sources were telling ABC News that David was being considered a suspect in the case, but no charges had been filed. Yet behind the scenes, a grand jury had been hearing evidence in the case, including Burke's reported travel to the Santa Barbara area of California during the spring of 2025 and a search of the Hollywood Hills property where he was reportedly staying, and reports of a high heat burn cage found at that location. Then we go to January of this year, 2026. David's alleged close friend, a man named Neo Langston, was arrested in Montana for failing to appear as a witness in a Los Angeles grand jury investigation.
It's unclear why, like, it feels like his friends have been trying to, like, defend him a bit or be elusive or not forthcoming. And some people might be like, nah, they just real niggas just, like, trying to, like, protect him. I think the opposite might be true. These guys, it's not like they care that much about David. I think they care a lot about themselves. I think they knew they were either complicit, either during or after. For all this shit to happen, if he's the only person involved, I'd be very shocked.
And a week after that, Langston,
the target of the investigation is clearly at David, though.
Spotted entering a Los Angeles courthouse and reportedly testified before the grand jury. But since then, for the most part, frankly, crickets in this case. No real developments, of course, until now. Joining us now to talk about this breaking news, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Always great to have you on Law and Crime.
If I recall correctly, Celeste's body was found in September. We all saw the video of the car being impounded and that search. Then, of course, law enforcement executed search warrants at David's home. Again, months and months ago. So this is the type of case that isn't just a file.
Why are y'all saying Jason the Ween?
File that lands on some DA's desk. This is a case that is being directed by prosecutors at the district attorney's office. They convene this investigative grand jury, and we know that a grand jury has two functions. In most states and at the federal level, their function is to indict, but it also has an investigative function. They have subpoena power, so they can subpoena people, witnesses, they can subpoena information and documents, and that's what the grand jury was doing in this case. So it seems to me that the prosecution has this all buttoned up right now. This isn't the type of case they're reacting to. This is a case where they think we not only have enough probable cause to get that arrest warrant and get past a preliminary hearing, but we have enough to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury at trial.
Do you think that this came as a surprise to David tonight, this arrest?
I think, given how long it's taken.
Man, I think he probably was ready to be arrested. I wouldn't be surprised if he was pretty much at the crib by himself, kind of just sitting in his own thoughts. And I think this might be a little bit of a relief for homeboy, though. Because if you're kind of just sitting around, you can't really go nowhere. You can't really live your life because the police are basically, this is a really high profile thing. You have news reporters always outside your crib. They're constantly investigating you. You know this is not going to just happen with it. They're like, oh, no, we're done. They're going to at least lock you up and try to convict you. And unless you go through that process, you're never really going to be free. I think he was just sitting back and waiting, man. That's what I personally feel. All right. Anyway, that seems to be the latest. I'm not going to play the whole interview to like get y'all bored and shit, but the arrest is happening, but it looks like it's an inner beef. The LAPD, you know, this has turned really political. A lot of people have said, hey, why is this needing so much proof? Remember, the burden or the standard of proof needed for this thing to go forward is that you need to have probable cause to that a crime has been committed by this guy, and the crime in question, which would be murder. And I you know, a lot of people say that's easy to not only indict. They say a grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, but they're saying if that's all the burden of proof that's needed for it to go to trial, how come this guy isn't arrested already? A lot of people have thought, well, maybe the detectives are just lingering with him out there to see if they could see if he fuck up, he calls somebody, he says something online. That can't be the case because they've now arrested him. So it appears that it's the DA that has been dragging their feet. And why would they drag their feet? That's odd. Okay. All righty then. All right. We are going to chat real quick. I need everybody to come on over to Kick. We are going to get back into our investigation of Ashley Janae. I need everybody to come over to Kick. Come on over to Kick, chat. Come to kick.com/academics. We are about to get back into the Ashley Janae. We're going to do it from the top because last time, I don't know what happened to my internet. I actually lost internet not too long ago, too. By the way, also, chat, if you haven't gotten your tickets to my birthday party, what the fuck are you doing? If y'all ain't trying to come to my birthday party, man, y'all ain't fuck with me. Straight up. Okay, we still got mad tickets available. All right, so I need y'all to get up in that building. We will be celebrating. It's really not just my birthday. It's a birthday for the chat. We're going to have an amazing time. We still got a bunch of, probably got about like 15 meet and greet tickets available and a bunch of GA tickets. And I don't know if you guys have been to Gramercy. It's a multi-level event or event space. So I know you might think that these tickets in this section is horrible. They're not. They're just up a level. They're balcony, actually. Anyway, look forward to see you May 15th. That's going to be an amazing time. And I need all y'all to come over to Kick. We are back to checking out this Ashley Janae thing. We are going to be checking that out. Oh, we should do an update on the Vlad